Welcome back once again to the Perfect Portfolio. And wow, we this is going to be the largest class we've ever taught in the Perfect Portfolio, which is exciting because we're going to create 1 million new millionaires. And that's not hyperbole. I was just talking with one of our students earlier, and he came into the course about 2.5 years ago, and he never thought he would become a millionaire. And he's just like one pump in the market, and he's a millionaire. So, anyways, we're just getting started on that. It's accelerating. Our students are absolutely loving it. We've taught this over to 500 people. By the end of the year, we'll be in the thousands, or maybe even 10 or 20,000 by the end of the year. We're growing so fast. And eventually, we'd like to have a few 100,000 people or in this strategy and a few million, and then we'll just start popping out millionaires. So maybe it'll take us 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. But I don't think there's any other financial education company that's ever done that. Pretty certain of that. And this will be the first company that actually literally helps, 1 million people become millionaires. So very excited about that. And it's also the legacy. It's not the, I don't think of like things as one generation, like multi generations. Like what could people do in one, two, three generations? We have people in the course who they learned it, they taught their kids, and then they taught their parents the strategies. And then you have three generations using it. And obviously, the more people you're using these strategies in your family, the faster your family is going to elevate yourself and become affluent and hopefully free, right? I don't care about money. I care about freedom. I care about choices. I care about good food. I care about nice vacations and just freedom. Freedom. It's pretty much, I've always been a guy about freedom, more not really about money, if that makes sense, right? Freedom to do whatever I want and, without people, forcing me to do that. That's why I don't have a job, right? Like, I don't want a boss. That's why I didn't like school. It's like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Nice meeting you. So, anyways, we're gonna jump into this class. It's been one heck of a ride in the last. I think we're going on a 4 year anniversary for since we literally had the idea to create the perfect portfolio. So it's pretty awesome, and we're just gonna have a lot of fun tonight. Once again, we love to see all these amazing students, and we have students who've been attending these courses for the past 3 years, right? They keep coming to the live courses, they keep coming back because they always learn something. And the fact is, the course has to be upgraded pretty regularly because the strategies that we use today didn't even exist, right? And we've been upgrading this course, the content, the platforms that we use have also upgraded. So there's constantly upgraded. So all of our students who attended the live course previously, they can come back and keep going as many times as they want and never pay us another dime and just keep learning to raise their financial IQ. So we have students from, we have obviously there's people who may be watching this on our YouTube channel. We'll be posting this within later this week. And then we have our mastermind students. We have people who've never invested before. We have people who have large portfolios. And then we also have a division where we do like high-end tax consulting for people who are paying lots of taxes and maybe their CPA and financial advisors don't have good solutions. So we have people from every income demographic all over the country attending today. And like I said, we just want to create 1 million new millionaires. That's our number one goal. We decided when we started this company about 4 years ago. So, but be interactive, guys. If you're interactive, you're in the chat, maybe thing. It's going to be a little more fun. And also, if I ask a question, obviously we don't want to be answering questions back and forth in this class. It's really informational. But at the same time, if you answer the question in your mind, it's going to help you really engage and really think about it more. And I think it's going to be even better for you guys to raise your financial IQ today. So um, again, this course started in COVID when all my appointments got canceled, and I was like, oh, what do I do now? And somebody said start a financial education company. I thought that was a great idea, and that's when we started the Perfect Portfolio. About 4 years ago, and again, somebody can come here today. They can attend the first three classes, the live overview, the orientation class, and class one, and just see if it's a good fit for you guys. See if this buy, borrow, die strategy is a good fit for you guys, or you want to just keep doing what you're doing with your finances, right? So just raise your financial IQ today. Sound good? Okay, so this is our introduction and orientation overview of what the perfect portfolio is and the strategies that we've been working on for 4 years. So okay, so this is a kind of a picture of my life, and my wife Stella. Life now, it's pretty awesome. We both don't have jobs. We get to work from home. We get to travel when we want. We get to work when we want. We get to work from pretty much anywhere in the world. And it wasn't always like this. I can tell you what, it wasn't always like this. It wasn't like this when I was a financial advisor. You know, I've been, flying in airplanes, Icon A5s when I went out to visit AJ. We finally, I always wanted a Tesla, so we picked up a Tesla. Just having, love hockey games, especially watching my nephew's hockey games in Canada. So we went to Detroit, watching my nephews play hockey. Just travel, a lot of travel. A lot of our travel is tax deductions because we're also have businesses, and just visiting Canada, my family, and we bought a house in Knoxville, and now we're actually developing waterfront land for like a really cool property waterfront. So I'm just saying it always wasn't like this. You know what the thing was, it wasn't like this when I was in the financial service industry, when I was a financial advisor, right? It actually, I had to leave the industry and learn the strategies that we're teaching today. Otherwise, it just wouldn't be like this, right? It just wouldn't be. Um, Again, I had to learn all this stuff after I left the financial industry. Okay, so I get, but anyways, I'd love for you guys to have the same freedoms that we have. So. Okay. So I grew up without any financial education. There wasn't even any financial education. There wasn't even a way to get financial education, right? There was no YouTube, there was no internet, there was no Zooms, there was no exchange traded funds didn't exist. There wasn't a phone with an app on it where I could go investing on my phone. Um, so nobody had ever heard of the word buy, borrow, die. Or if they did, it was only the super, 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 super wealthy that were using it. And the cool part is anybody can use this strategy today, what we're going to talk about. So very exciting stuff. But my dad was a uranium and nickel miner and a brick mason. So he very hard work. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So my dad used to go to work, make money, work super hard, and he literally laid bricks until he literally couldn't even go to work anymore. He just could not physically lay another brick. And he just tried as hard as he possibly could. So, but yeah, well, that was me in Thompson, Manitoba, right? Way up north in the blue jacket. That's me, my dad, my brother, and I, right? My dad was used to mine uranium and very hard life, cut down trees, but it was also a good life in northern Canada. So when we were younger, my parents lived paycheck to paycheck. Both died without life insurance, no long-term care, and literally no assets. In fact, my parents, their grandparents, their parents, and my grandparents also died with nothing. Like we've never inherited anything. No real estate, no savings, no stocks, literally nothing. We'd inherit whatever they happened to have left after they were poor. That's what we would inherit for 3 generations. So I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm so tired of being poor. When I was 16, I was just like, this is crazy. I got to do something about this. I'm so tired of being poor. Okay. So I was my mom called me Money Mark when I was like 15, 16, because like I don't know how, but I got to make some money somehow, right? And so I came to the United States 25 years ago. No high school diploma, no college diploma, and no green card, right? So pretty good way to come to the United States. No high school diploma, no green card, no college diploma. Come to the United States, and just I got a job as a security guard for a minimum wage. That's the only job I could get with no green card when I first came here. I was a private investigator for actually 6 years and 10 months, so almost 7 years until 2005. I used to chase people around with a video camera on workers' compensation claims. Very dangerous job. And then I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad one day. right? And it was a private investigator. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And I finally understood why I didn't like school. I was like, oh, that's why I hated school when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. So, okay. 2009 to 2014, I decided I was going to write a book. I'm like, I didn't really go to school much, but I'm going to write a book somehow. And it took me 5 years, right? I was very persistent. I'm a very persistent person. Okay. And wrote Rich Man Poor Bank, finished it in 2014. It was my first book ever. And, it was a pretty cool accomplishment at the time. Okay. So Rich Man Poor Bank was actually translated into Spanish because a former UN translator said, we need this book in Spanish. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So she did it for a couple $1,000 because she wanted it. So Hombre Rico, Banco Pobre. I spent 15 years training insurance agents, investment advisors, and fiduciary financial advisors. I used to set up 401k plans, and I was actually the financial advisor for a number of CPAs. Okay. And I was sitting here and I'm like, after 15 years, I was like, wow, I don't really know how to retire early. I don't know how to pay no taxes. My CPA doesn't know how to retire early. And I was consulting with CPAs who didn't really know how to retire. They were looking for their social security payments and maybe an inheritance. And I was like, the financial advisors don't know how to retire, and the CPAs don't know how to retire, and they're all paying lots of taxes. And all they know how to do is put money in retirement accounts. I was like, this system's rigged. I was like, there's something wrong here, but I'm out. I literally uh, I wrote my second book and resigned from the financial industry. So it cost me a lot of money, but I was like, all right. So I released top 10 ways to avoid taxes and resigned and gave up my business that I built for 15 years. So I couldn't do it anymore. I hated it. I literally hated every minute of going to work of every day. Okay. So there's just no amount of money that it kept me there anymore. So, and then wrote another book. This is actually my best rated book. People absolutely love this book on what's called indexed universal life insurance. This also goes into a lot of fundamentals that we teach here today, using other people's money, some real estate strategies, and that sort of thing. So that's a fun book too. So basically, I had to change my thinking because nobody was becoming financially free unless I charged lots of fees to my clients and built my book of business. I wouldn't retire either, and I couldn't stay in the financial industry anymore. So, all right, so I changed my thinking. Okay. Then this book, this AJ and myself, we co-authored this book together and just worked super hard to get this thing together. Like it was 10, 11 months, just night and day. We stopped running the course for a while. It just consumed me for night and day. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up in the night and just, but anyways, huge book, 400 pages. It's actually currently ranked number one tax book on Kindle for personal taxes and number two for the hard copy. I'm being beat by Robert Kiyosaki's CPA. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm just number two to Robert Kiyosaki's CPA. I'll take it, right? So, if you want to get a copy of that today, scan the code or just jump onto Amazon and pick up a copy. It's pretty good. I think it's a life-changing book, and I think this is a life-changing course. We just needed a book to go with it to really give it. So the book complements the course, and the course complements the book, right? So we wanted to give really cool content, so everybody has a chance to win and raise their financial IQ. It's the first book ever written on how anyone can use the buy, borrow, die strategy. Okay. First book ever written, proven it. We didn't, and it wasn't a hypothetical. We proved it by helping 500 people, ordinary Americans, start using these strategies. So we didn't just write a book. We actually proved it over 4 years. So this is not something hypothetical we're doing. We do it every single day, and we start people with $100, $100. So you can start investing and jump into that. Okay. So what we got building your perfect portfolio. There's 5 pillars we'll talk about a little bit today. Building life-changing wealth. Okay, this is life-changing wealth. In chapter 4, you can learn how anyone could build $6 million in wealth, retire early, and live tax-free. You don't have to be some financial genius to do this. You could do it with your iPhone, and it's super simple. Okay. Um, then there's chapter 48, live off the borrow button. Okay, that sort of ties in with chapter number 4, but we'll talk a little bit about that. But if I need to create money, I log in on my phone, I press the borrow button, and I create money with no work and no taxes, and I don't have to fight inflation. We'll show you how that works today. That probably doesn't make sense to new people, but if you've been in this course a little bit, that makes sense to you quite a bit. Okay, so we'll cover how that makes sense. Okay, so obviously we're not financial advisors. We don't give financial advice or tax or legal advice. Sound good? We're not advisors. I'm not your CPA. I'm not your financial advisor. You need to verify with your CPA, CFP, and or financial advisor before selling or buying any investment. Sound good? Okay. So this is Remy the robot, right? And we're going to teach you how the rich pay zero taxes. Okay. Quick question for right now. Knowing what you know, is it possible for you to pay zero taxes? Yes or no? Is it possible for you to pay zero taxes? What do you think? Yes, no. All right. Cool. Wow. Lots of our students actually say yes. It's funny. Okay. Before, if you never came across the course or the book, would your answer be different? Okay. Because it's funny, CPAs are like, you can't not pay taxes. You're going to go to jail. People say that. Or, oh, you have to, it's just not possible. Oh, yeah, my favorite. Oh, if you're paying lots of taxes, that's great because that means you're doing well. Who's heard of that one before? Yeah, paying lots of taxes means you're doing well. Congratulations. I'm like, really? That's your advice? So, all right, whatever. If that's what they believe, that's what they can do. Okay. But I'd rather pay zero. Okay. So, all right, we're going to teach you billionaire financial strategies buy, borrow, die. Okay. We'll tell you where it comes from. We'll talk a little bit about that. But again, I didn't create this phrase, I didn't coin it. It's been around since the 1990s. Okay. Long time. Okay. And is by a law professor called Edward McCaffrey. Said, "Oh wow, billionaires, they just buy assets, they never sell them, they borrow from them, and then when they die, they pass their assets tax-free, buy, borrow, die." Okay,
You,
super
you know,
simple.
the funny thing is, Mark,
Yeah,
so, I went to USC, which is where Ed McCaffrey is actually a professor at. I took a course from Professor McCaffrey. So I took a course from him at the university he teaches at, where I don't even want to go into how expensive that course was. Um, and this was right around the time that he was really gaining traction talking about buy a borrow die. Not once did he mention it in class. Not even once.
crazy. Hmm. Yeah. See, I always wonder that. I'm like, I'm a financial advisor, investment advisor, and now I will tell you this. That as I got into higher net worth clients, there was a strategy where you'd buy a bunch of mutual funds, and if the client got big enough, you could have them open up what's called a securities backed line of credit. It's called an S block, but it didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why would you want to borrow from your portfolio? Because that's debt. And it didn't make any sense to me, right? But I never heard the phrase buy, borrow, die. After 60,000 hours of studying finances, never came across it. But, anyways, this is the guy who coined it at USC, Edward McCaffrey. Okay. Now, my question, why did I not learn buy, borrow, die when I was a financial advisor? Why do you think why do you think they don't teach financial advisors the secrets to building wealth and paying no taxes? Okay, I like that. I see that response there. Could be accurate, but I won't repeat it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like, why? Anyways, you guys can answer that for yourself. Okay. All right. So the purpose of this course when we started, I was like, all right, what are we going to do? Let's start a course. I was like, what can everybody do? Everybody can raise their financial IQ. See, doesn't matter how knowledgeable you are of finances, or if you have nothing, or if you have a lot of finance, everybody can raise their financial IQ. I can still learn today. I'm like, I get up every day. I'm like, wow, what can I learn today? I don't like, oh, I know everything. I'm like, what can I learn today? Right. And I actually I learn new stuff every day, which is amazing, right? Because I keep digging. Teach you to fish. We want to teach you guys to fish. Does the financial industry want you fully educated so you don't need anyone else's help, or do they want you dependent on them so you have to keep going back to them? Which one's more likely? What do you think? Do they want you independent where you don't need them, or do they want you dependent on them? What do you think? Ah, maybe they don't want you independent, right? Hmm. Food for thought. Um, Automate your income. We own the phrase automate your income. I was like, man, I don't like working hard. I want to have incomes that automated, so I don't have to do anything and I make money when I sleep. So that was our goal. We didn't quite know how to do it at the time, but kind of figured it out and systematized it over the past 4 years. And then we also, obviously we mentioned we want to create 1 million new millionaires. And pretty soon we're have to start posting them on our website pretty soon because we actually have people hitting the millionaire status. Okay, and that's going to start accelerating as we run the course, year after year. Okay. So there's a guy named Sadhguru, and he said this thing, and I was hiking one day, and he said, "Thinking is just a recycling of the data you've gathered in the past," and that really hit home. I was like, "Whoa, that's deep, right? Like, how are you how are you going to solve a problem if everybody around you is giving you the same information, just repeating the same stuff over and over, right?" And I was like, man, that's so true in the financial industry. I was like, man, so you got to really kind of dump it, right? You almost have to press delete and just delete everything you've ever learned and then just start from scratch. And then you guys got to decide if it works. Sound good? Okay, but thinking is just a recycling of the data you've gathered in the past. So if you can't if you got to solve a problem, you need to dump the old information and get new information. Is that true? Yeah. Okay. Really think about that. Okay. It applies to everything in your life. Okay. Everything in your life. Okay. Now, what is money? Okay. Since we're talking about money, what is money? Anyone tell me what is money? Okay. So I got $1 here, right? I got $100 here. Okay. Why is this one worth $1 and that's one worth 100? That's 100 times worth more than that one. Why is that? Because I scribbled it's the same piece of paper. They scribbled 100 on it and why is one worth 100 times more than the other? Okay. Really, it's just a piece of paper. Okay. All right. So what is money? Okay. We're going to talk about that today. And more importantly, I'm going to define what you should be looking for because you're not really looking for money. You're looking for characteristics of money, right? Isn't that what you're looking for? Or what's what you should be looking for? Okay, so let's look at what you should look for if you consider it money or what are you trying to accumulate. Okay. So we anything we agree has value is money. It is easily transferable and it has limited supply. Those are the three characteristics of money. Okay. They don't teach you this when you're a financial advisor. They don't teach you this at fancy universities, but it's pretty simple stuff. Okay. So anything that we agree has value, easily transferable, and finally, limited supply is money. Okay. I'll give you that definition and then we'll prove it to you. Okay. Also, other questions? How is money created? So, question for everybody. I'm going to ask you 4 questions now. It's very important to answer them in your mind because I'm going to ask you the same questions at the end of the presentation. And again, answer them in your mind at the end. Sound good? So, everyone answer these 3 questions in your mind to yourself or put it in the chat. How is money created? How is money created? Okay. How is money created? They print it, right? They print it, right? They just print any amount of just print it, run the printing presses all day long. But is that it? Is that the only way it's created? Okay, so how is money created? Most cancer, they print it. Okay, they print it. Okay, that's the most common answer. 2, who can create money? Can I create money? Can I just take the $1 bill, add some zeros and back? Oh, that's 100 now. Who can create money? And just answer in your mind and see who can create money. So it's entries in a computer. I see that physically, right? Awesome. Okay. Most common answer, the Federal Reserve. Like, yeah, the Federal Reserve creates money, right? Can I create money? Can anyone create money? Can anyone create money? Yes or no? Okay. Students who've been in the course for a while or read the book. Okay. Can I create money? Can I just create some money? Go. put it on the printer over here, copy. Can I create the money? Most common answer would be no. That's counterfeiting. You go to jail if you try and create your own money, right? Put you in jail. Okay. Finally, do I have to work to make money? Do I have to work to make money? Yes or no? Do I have to work to make money? Okay. But anyways, answer that question in your mind. Yes or no? Most common answer, yes, you must work to make money. Okay. You must work to make money. Those are the four most common answers if you asked 100 people on the street. Okay. Now, is a cow money? Is a cow money? All right. Let's look at our test. Does everyone agree a cow is has value? If we agree a cow has value, we can say, yeah, that cow's worth X amount of money. If the cow's like grass fed, fed organic, like good food, the cow's worth more money, right? So everyone agrees a cow has money. Is a cow transferable? Well, not easily transferable, but you can walk a cow down the street and sell it, right? So it has characteristics of money. And is there a limited supply of cows? You can only grow so many cows, right? So technically, check it on the list. A cow has the characteristics of money. Is a silver coin money? Okay. Silver coin, is it money? Yes or no? Answer in your mind. Okay. Well, it says $1 on it. There's a Canadian one and also an American one. Okay. So, but is that dollar coin worth $1? It's worth a lot more, isn't it? It says $1 on it, but it's worth like over 30 bucks, right? Silver, because silver went up in value. So that silver coin, so the $1 is worth a dollar, but that dollar is worth $30. There's something wrong with the money, isn't there? Okay. Is this money? Okay, we'll answer that again. How about Bitcoin? Is that money? Okay. Is that money? Okay. Well, it's digital, right? It's created digitally, but you know what? Every time they print one of these, they create nine more in a computer as digital entries. Did you guys know that? $1, they create nine more just as digital entries in a computer. Okay, so Bitcoin's digital, our money's digital for the most part. Okay, is Bitcoin money? Well, look at the test. We agree it has value. Yes, there's like we agree it's worth about what, 105,000 last I looked today. Is it easily transferable? It can be transferred anywhere in the world. You could transfer 10 bucks to anywhere in the world just by sending an email, and you don't even need a bank to do it. Okay. So super transferable, and it has a limited supply. There's about 95% of the Bitcoin exists today. There's only 5% left to create of the Bitcoin in the end for everybody in the world to share. So it's definitely has limited supply. Now, how about real estate? Does that house have the characteristics of money? Do you want to accumulate more real estate? We agree it has value, right? Okay. Now, is that house worth more in a field in Ohio, or is it worth more on the Malibu overlooking the ocean? Which one's worth more? Okay. Limited supply. So it's not just we agree it has value. Can a house be transferred? It can be transferred to ownership to somebody else. So it has the three characteristics of money, but even the house needs limited supply. Houses overlooking water, houses with a view have less supply. You can't create more of them, so they go up in value faster. Okay. So how about this one? A $20 bill. Is that money? Is a $20 bill money? Is that money? I don't know. Weird, because see, the dollar on the left is worth $30 over that same period. The $20 bill is worth 50 cents. So how come the one that says $20 is worth 50 cents and the one on the left that says $1 is worth $30? How did they more than switch places? There's something wrong with the money, isn't there? Okay. Okay, so what is money again? Is it the paper? Okay. Because the $100 bill is worth about 50 cents from about 100 years ago. So it's worth nothing. Okay. So, anyways, so what is money? We don't even know what money is. What are we supposed to do? Buy things that we agree have value, that's easily transferable, and they have limited supply. All right. So let's give you another example. The $20 fill is fake money. It has unlimited supply. So anything with unlimited supply will go down in value. Anything with limited supply will go up in value. That simple. Okay. Now, how about this next one? Is Charmin have the characteristics of money? Does Charmin have the characteristics of money? Why, yes, it does. If you invested your fake money in Charmin 5 years ago, the dollar would have gone down and the Charmin would have gone up in value compared to the dollars. So technically, Charmin is a better investment than holding this crap. Isn't that crazy? Toilet paper. I call it toilet paper money. Okay, this is all toilet paper money, not real money. Hasn't been real money since 1971 when they basically took us off the gold standard. Your money used to be backed by gold. Now it's backed by nothing. It's printed like toilet paper, and then they multiply it 10 times that amount in computer as digital entries. Isn't that crazy? Okay. Now, I've got another question for you. Okay? Because we asked, how is money created? We asked, who can create money? Can I create money? So most people would have said, I can't create money. If you asked 100 people, can I create money? They'd say, no, I can't create money. Let me ask you something. Let's say I take my Costco card. Okay. Now, let's say you go to Costco. How many people go to Costco or whatever? You go to Costco, you swipe your credit card to buy a TV, and you spend $2,000 on a TV. What happened there? Because something actually happened. What purchased the TV? Where did it come from? Swipe a card. What happened? Money was created. $2,000 of new money was created in a computer the second I swiped my credit card for $2,000. $2,000 didn't exist. I swiped the card. $2,000 existed as a computer as new money. This is important to understand this stuff. Now, who got paid when I swiped the credit card? Somebody made money. Okay. Well, there's four people, organizations that made money. So the first, obviously, Costco made some money. That's awesome. Costco brings prices down. I love Costco. Great, cool stuff. So Costco made some money. If I buy LG TV, LG made some money. That's fair. They build TVs. The cost of TVs keeps going down. Fantastic. The bank made money. This is a Citibank. You swipe it, they collect a swipe fee. So Citibank makes some money when you swipe the card. If you don't pay off the card in 30 days, what happens? 24 to 29% interest rates. But again, they didn't actually lend you some money. They just put digital entries. When you start paying 25% interest, that's just more digital entries in a computer. They're charging you interest on money that they never actually created in the first place. It's all just digital entries. Okay. Finally, who else got paid? Taxes. The government took a massive amount of taxes as soon as you swipe that card. State, federal, city taxes. There's about 8 more taxes just when their payroll taxes get paid. As soon as you swipe that card, there's dozens of taxes that all get passed on to you as soon as you swipe the card. So when you go shopping at Costco and shop everywhere, who gets wealthy? Lots of other families do. Banking corporations, banks, government. Government makes massive amounts of money every time you go swipe a credit card. So why do they want you swiping those credit cards, right? Because it feeds big government massive taxation. Okay. So the point of this story is you create money out of all the time. You just create money to make other families wealthy. So would you like to learn how to create money to make your family wealthy? Yes or no? Okay, because you create it every day. It's just you're creating it to make other families wealthy and big government wealthy too. So you can create it and create your wealth. So we'll talk about that today. All right. So what is this buy, borrow, die thing?
Some
Let me just rewind this thing and crank it up. All right. Buy, borrow, die.
some of the very richest Americans pay little in taxes compared with how fast their fortunes grow each year. How? They use a tax strategy known as buy, borrow, die. It's like the ultra wealthy are living on another planet. Average people need income to pay for basics like housing and food. But the ultra wealthy don't. They can just live on borrowed cash. Step 1, buy. The ultra wealthy buy an asset or build a company or inherit a fortune. As long as they don't sell, they owe no taxes. They keep their income as low as possible, since every dollar they earn can be taxed. Step 2, borrow. They borrow against their holdings, and the bank gives them a really good deal.
I'll loan you $10 million with only 3% interest. But if you take a $10 million salary from your company, you'll owe almost 37% to the IRS.
So the ultra-wealthy use loan money to fund their lifestyles. That's how a billionaire can live the most luxurious life imaginable while reporting little to no taxable income. Step 3, die. When they die, these lucky few often use complicated trusts and philanthropic foundations to avoid the estate tax. And their heirs can inherit stocks and other assets tax-free. A new generation is ultra-wealthy, and the cycle starts all over again.
Pretty cool, huh? Just buy assets, never sell them, borrow from them, never pay taxes, and you don't even need like complicated trusts. Currently under tax law, if you're married, you can pass $26 million tax-free to your family. And if your family gets 26 million tax-free and they use buy, borrow, die, your family could be worth hundreds and hundreds of millions or even become a billionaire with this system. So it compounds very, very fast. The first year you're using it, it's great. The second year it compounds faster. By the time you're in year 3 and 4, your wealth just starts skyrocketing because you're literally buying and borrowing and circumventing the tax system. So pretty cool stuff. And the great part, anyone can do it. Anyone of any income can do this, which is pretty exciting. Okay. All right. So there's buy, borrow, die. Can anyone buy, borrow, die? Okay. I was like, man, this is, yes, great article in Forbes. This was back in 2021, how ordinary Americans can also buy, borrow, and die without paying taxes. So good article in Forbes. This was 2021. I saw this article, I was like, wow, this is awesome, right? And at the time, we were investing in a brokerage account. Interest rates were low. We were borrowing at 2% interest, and we were buying a covered call. Those are covered in the book and earning a 12% dividend. So imagine buying a covered call that pays a 12% dividend and borrowing at 2%, but then you could even buy another covered call that paid 12%. Okay. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy, right? So obviously interest rates are higher, but we had to, we've been able to manage that and build wealth, continuing with that same type of strategy. And I'll give you some examples also from my actual brokerage account today. So good stuff. Anyone can buy, borrow, die. Okay. So what is your perfect portfolio? We started this out and said our goal is build passive income and pay zero taxes and do what we enjoy. Does that sound good? Build passive income, pay zero taxes, and do what you enjoy. Sweet. All right. So that's what our goal was. We said we want to be able to go hockey games, vacations, do whatever we want, pay a little taxes, build wealth, passive on our iPhones. Real estate is not so much passive, but it's also a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And wanted active and passive incomes. And we didn't want the stock market to need to go up for it to work. Even in flat markets that aren't going up, these strategies still work. Okay. In down markets, you just got to keep buying. Down markets are great. Just keep buying. You actually keep buying forever and your wealth compounds because when the market recovers, you own more assets cheaper. So it works in sideways markets, down markets, keep buying forever. And I have a simple plan. Keep buying assets forever. I'll never stop buying forever. All my income keeps going to my assets and I can live off low interest loans. I just keep buying forever. Okay. I know that sounds weird, but that's exactly how people compound wealth and that's how they get so ridiculously wealthy. Okay. So we said, wait, we got to build family banks. We got to build places where we can buy and borrow. And as that asset grows, we can borrow from that asset and buy another asset. As those two assets grow, we could borrow from those two assets to buy another asset. And we just keep doing that. Okay. So we want to build family bank number 2 and family bank number 3 and family bank number 4 and family bank number 5 and just building places where we could buy and borrow. And if one asset shoots up, We can borrow from that one to buy an asset that went down, and that other asset shoots up. We could borrow from that asset to buy another asset, and we just keep doing that over and over because you don't have to earn the money. It's loaned. You're buying another asset with money that's never been taxed. That grows tax free, and then you can die with no taxes. Okay, so IUL is a risk-free investment inside a life insurance policy. It can only go up and it can never go down. So we said, hey, we can invest in our brokerage accounts, grow our wealth that way with no taxes, and then we can borrow and fund a risk-free, tax-free life insurance policy. This is also good for life insurance, long-term care, asset protection. Okay. And then if the market crashes, we could borrow from the asset that didn't lose money and put it in the stock portfolios that crashed, and we could buy more. Okay. So we just different assets. And you can ask, how much is in stocks and ETFs, how much is in IUL for risk-free, growth in up markets, but can't lose it in down markets. How much is in real estate? Okay. You can buy real estate with no money. You can buy homes and things with $0 out of pocket. Okay. These days, usually people put 3% down, people put 20% down. That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm not trying to get out of debt. I'm trying to borrow more money to buy more assets because it doesn't require work. It doesn't require paying taxes, and it doesn't require fighting inflation while earning the money. Okay. So if you learn how to do this, you circumvent the tax system and you don't have to work hard for the money. Okay. So it's OPM times OPM. Tax reduction in real estate. We teach you all the strategies to wipe out all forms of income in the book, including W-2, 1099, and dividend income. All of it can go away with real estate strategies. Well, if you have tax-free income streams funneling into a buy, borrow, die strategy, that means you can exit the tax system forever. Okay, no more income taxes. Okay, so we also did, hey, we can buy, borrow, die with gold and precious metals, and we can also do it with Bitcoin, like cryptocurrency. Okay, so that's what we spent 4 years on it, and it's all automated. Very cool stuff. Okay. All right. So what are the 5 pillars of building wealth? Here we go. Okay. Business ownership is very valuable. If you don't have a business, you should have one. Buying real estate also counts as a business. So in the book, one to live in, one to rent. Okay. So stocks and ETFs are a good place to start. You can start with $100. Okay, we don't give financial advice, but we can show you, hey, here's what I invest into. You can start with $100. You can do real estate if you want, one to live in and one to rent. Then you open up all types of tax loopholes you don't have if you don't have at least one rental property. Okay. Protection, that's where you protect your assets, life insurance, long-term care, and also investments that can only go up and never can go down. Okay. Cryptocurrency is very powerful for making a lot of money. Remember, there's only 5% of the Bitcoin left for the entire world to share. These are corporations, governments, and all the affluent people and everybody on planet Earth gets to share in the remaining 5% of the Bitcoin left. Okay, so if you should understand limited supply, that's really important. And finally, precious metals. Precious metals isn't going to crash in a market. It's going to keep going up as they devalue the dollar. So these 5 pillars are very powerful for building wealth when you can use buy, borrow, die. Okay, all covered in the book. Many, many chapters on each of those different assets. Those are the 5 pillars. Now, are you using OPM to invest? How many people are using other people's money to invest? Okay. Awesome. Yeah, there's actually there's a bunch of credit unions and like including Navy Federal Credit Union. You buy a home as your personal residence. They don't require anything down. There's lots of banks, credit unions. We bought this house I'm in with 3% down. It's our primary residence. So, okay. So, cool. Let's show you. I am using other people's money. Let's look at my portfolio. I took a snapshot of my portfolio. This is the portfolio I've been training on since we started the course. It was started as a small portfolio. This is the same portfolio. I show it every single class. Okay. This is the returns as of today. It made 0.48% today. Okay. This is extra spicy. I'm not a conservative investor. Okay. I don't suggest you buy this portfolio. If you would like to look at that, you can study the positions and decide if you want to duplicate that portfolio. But again, if you start with $100 and start learning, that's a good place to do it. Okay. So these are all income portfolios. The first four are income portfolios. One's built by JP Morgan, another one's called Neos. They're all investments that can grow and pay income. Some are very tax advantaged. Some are return of capital. There's things called 1256 contracts where the dividends are only taxed at 60% long-term capital gains. So this portfolio is designed to grow, pay lots of income. So even in a sideways market, it's constantly buying more. And in a down market, it's constantly buying more. Okay. SPXL in the middle, this is a very aggressive position. It's the stock market times 3. The thing is, my portfolio doesn't buy it when it's going up. It only buys it when it's going down. This is really key. Okay. So again, there's some Bitcoin related assets, NVIDIA, Palantir, two big artificial intelligence companies are in there, and then some more stock market. It's like a complex stock options trade. Everything in there is a complex stock options trade for the most part. Okay. See, these are all a whole bunch of complex stock options. You just buy the ETF and they do the work for you, but then the computer helps manage the portfolio for me. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 9 different complex options put into a computer, and then the computer manages them for me. Okay. Pretty powerful stuff. I borrowed $81,730.14. You know how I did it? There was no application. There's no credit check. It doesn't report to my credit score, and there's no required payments on the loans. You know how I did it? I pressed the borrow button and created money. Just like you can swipe a credit card and create it, I just create money to create my wealth. Now, 4 questions for you. Did I have to work hard for the $81,730.14? Did I have to work hard? I had to press a button a whole bunch of times, okay? So I had to press it lots of times, okay? Did I have to pay taxes on the $81,730? How much of it was taxable? It was never taxable. I just pressed the button, created money, and invested it. Did I have to fight inflation while earning the $81,730? No, I didn't. I fought inflation with inflation. I created money. The government creates money that devalues my wealth and steals it. So I just create money to fight inflation. And anybody can do this. All of our students do this. Okay. So you can create money to build other people wealth, to build, or you can create money to build your wealth. I currently borrow at 5.25% interest rate. It's a heck of a lot better than going to work, isn't it? Okay. Now you need to raise your financial IQ. My estimated June income on this portfolio, due to all the income positions, is estimated at 5259.89 for the month. This is monthly income. My interest for the month is $343.33. Is that good? I'll pay you $334.33 to borrow that money, but my income will be about over $5,000 a month. Pretty cool. How many times do you want to borrow money, not work, not pay taxes, and fight inflation with inflation, and then your payments not even 1/10 the size of the dividends? Pretty cool, huh? Anyways, there it is. Okay. Again, I'm not suggesting you invest in this portfolio. You would need to understand each position in that portfolio, how it's configured there, and which are conservative and aggressive, and have to decide for yourself. But if you want to start with $100, that's a good place to do it. We'll show you how to do that. All right. So we can help customize and build your buy, borrow, die strategy. Okay, it's not financial advising. We'll say, hey, here's how to build a buy, borrow, die strategy. But it starts with cash flow. You want to automate your income streams. Doesn't matter how much you make when you're awake. It only matters how much you make when you're sleeping. Okay, that's what matters. If you're sleeping and you're making money, awesome. Okay. Eliminate any debt above 6%. I don't like debt. I only like debt when it makes me money. I don't like credit card debt. I pay them all off. I only use debt to make me more money because I don't have to work for it. I don't want to have to work hard for it. Okay. So there's bad debt and there's good debt. We love good debt. Get your emergency fund, grow your emergency fund with a 4% return, FDIC insured up to $4.75 million. Your bank only insures your money for $250,000. We have FDIC insurance up to $4.75 million and it pays 4% interest. Okay. Okay. Buy life insurance and long-term care with OPM. Normally people buy life insurance and long-term care with money that's been taxed. The rich borrow it. It's called premium financing, but it's only for ultra wealthy families. We can fund a brokerage account, take a low interest loan, and buy life insurance. That means we're doing what the ultra wealthy families. We're buying life insurance, which is never taxed and grows tax free with money that's never been taxed. Okay, so this is another strategy that super wealthy use called premium financing. You can do it internally and use the same strategies they use. Okay, and then you want to build a tax-free family bank. We only want to put money into life insurance to grow it with no risk in taxes to then borrow from it to buy additional assets, correct? Okay. Increase returns and reduce the risk on all your investment accounts and build 5 pillars. Okay, 5 pillars can reduce risk and help expand your portfolio, reduce risk, and actually increase your returns too. Okay, and become financially free and retire early. Okay, you don't need to wait until you're 65 or 70 years old to retire. That's a lie. That's a lie created by Wall Street. It's a lie created by big government to make you think you need to work until you're 65 or 70. It's just not true. Okay, so delete that from your head. Retirement is a scam. It was created by Wall Street. The word retirement account was also created by big government and Wall Street to make you think you need to work for the rest of your life. You do not have to. Okay, build passive income streams now and retire at any age and learn to pay no taxes. Just understand the federal tax codes. They're all in the book. Does that sound better? Is that cool? I'm kind of, I like to get to the point here and just tell you how it is. Does that sound good? Hope you're okay. I'm honest with you guys. Okay. You can learn more about it at theperfectportfolio.com. We have a pretty awesome website today. Lots of content, videos at our website. Okay. So what is financial education? What is financial education? Can anyone give me some examples of financial education? Because we all got financially educated at some point at some level. So let's look at what is a financial education. Does this sound familiar? Go to school, get good grades, get a job and work hard, save money and get good credit, pay your taxes, lots of them, max out your retirement account so you can retire someday. Does this sound familiar? And send extra principal payments to pay off your home faster. Do you consider that financial education? Is that financial education? Translation, hand your money to Wall Street. Retire maybe on Social Security with a 3.5% withdrawals. So retirement account, if you have $1 million in a retirement account, you get to retire on 3.5%. That's $35,000 of income, which is taxable on each $1 million you have in a retirement account. Okay. Own your home, but pay more taxes and kill your money. When you buy a home, you could buy it with 3% down or 0% down. I bought this one with 3% primary residence. I'll take this one, rent it. I'll go buy another house with 3% down or 0% down, and I'll just buy houses without working or taxes. I'll just sign a piece of paper and buy real estate by signing pieces of paper. I don't have to work or pay taxes on the money. I'll build my wealth without having to work or pay taxes. Okay. So when you send an extra principal payments into a mortgage, you actually voluntarily pay more taxes. So what you save in interest, you actually pay more in taxes because you're eliminating it's all mortgage interest, right? So you pay principal, you actually push yourself into higher tax brackets every single year you send in extra principal payments. 2, all your money in your home is now dead. You can't do anything with it. It's literally dead. It doesn't help you at all. Instead of sending extra principal payments, you should have been investing into other assets outside of your home, such as buying more real estate. See, the rich don't try and pay off their real estate. They buy real estate with very little of their own money, and then they fix it up as it goes up in value. They borrow from that real estate to buy real estate because they're not working for any of the money. Make sense? So the rich aren't trying to get into debt. The rich are trying to use assets because get into debt because they have to work for it, but they're not trying to pay out of debt. I'm never going to get out of debt. I'm going to try and get more and more debt for the rest of my life. Because if I owe 100 million, that means I didn't have to work for 100 million, but I might have 300 million by then. Make sense? Totally different way of thinking. Okay. So own your home, but pay more taxes and kill your money. Run out of money at 85. If you have $1 million in a 401k, you start taking 35,000 a year. Couple big stock market crash, you're going back to work at 85. 85. Retire at 65, go back to work at 80 or 85. A very high likelihood of that happening, by the way, even if you have a 1 million in your retirement account. Start looking for a job with a walker. How's that found? I know people don't like that visual, but this is the future for most of the people you know. If they don't have Social Security, almost everybody you know, this is their future. Oh, it's worse. They get to live in a state-funded long-term care facility. I'm not trying to scare you here. I just want to tell you what the future looks for most of the people that you know. Your friends, your family, your children, all those people. This is their future. I just want you to know about it. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just bringing it a reality. This is the future for most American families. And this is why I could not sit in the financial service industry, sell 401ks and IRAs and Roth IRAs and 529s and build a book of business so I could collect passive income stream and I could retire knowing that my clients were never going to retire, guys. Social Security is just going to be out of money by around 2033, 34. A lot of these things are in big trouble. So that's the financial education we're getting right there. All right. So let's look at different financial education. 7 levels of financial education. I defined it. I was like, man, what are we trying to do here as we raise their financial IQ? Level 1 is I don't understand money. I don't understand anything, right? I'm like, man, I don't understand anything. How many people started out when they're with money and said, I don't understand anything? How many people started out there? Kind of everybody, right? At some point, like, I don't understand money. Teach me. Congratulations, this can be a huge advantage. If you don't understand anything, you have not been brainwashed by publicly traded financial companies. Isn't it? What a good place to start, right? Don't know anything? Man, you just learn so fast. So congratulations. If you don't know anything, congratulations, you're in the best place to learn, and you'll probably learn faster than everybody else. Level 2, I save money and get good credit. When you save money, other families get wealthy. When you get good credit, other families get wealthy. So save good, that's not financial education, that's indoctrination. You've only been taught to make publicly traded mega banks wealthy. Number 3, level 3. People are like, man, I'm at level 3. I'm saving money, I'm getting good credit. Now I max out my 401k to save on taxes, and I have a Roth IRA and index funds. Like, man, level 3, I'm financially educated. This is awesome. Really? You've been educated by bankers and financial advisors that work for publicly traded financial companies that have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. It's impossible for a financial advisor to give you the best advice if they're working for a company that's publicly traded because they have a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders. That means their only responsibility is to maximize profitability for their shareholders. So level 3, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay? You're turning your family into a multi-generational passive income stream for Wall Street. That's it. That's level 3. So people think, man, I'm at level 3. Most financial advisors are at level 3, and most CPAs are at level 3. No offense to any CPAs on here, but most CPAs, they're like, man, retirement accounts, put your money in a SEP, put your money in an IRA to save on taxes, load up that 401k. Okay, so unfortunately, Most financial advisors are at level 3. So don't be like, man, I'm only at level 3. So is your financial advisor in CPA. I used to be there, but I was always very skeptical about that system right there. It's 100% impossible to give you better advice than average. Level 4, I need to use OPM in my investing. You go, whoa, I can use OPM and not have to work for it. And I just have to get educated about how to do it. That's level 4. Most people never make it to level 4. Isn't that cool? If you guys are like, man, you guys are already better off than 99.9% of the financial advisors out there. You actually know what they're like, whoa, after this class, anyways. Okay. You have been calculated if you're in 10% rate of return on your investments that is mathematically impossible to build wealth after deducting inflation and taxes. If you're in 10% on your retirement accounts, which most people don't, minus 4% for inflation and 3% for taxes, where are you? Now, unfortunately, inflation's more than 4. Okay, so yeah, you're in trouble. 401ks don't really grow. They get eaten up by inflation and taxes. Now, question, if you don't take control of your family's financial education, who will? If you don't take full responsibility for your family's financial education, who will? Remember, if you don't know what OPM is, then you are the OP in other people's money. Now, I asked you guys some questions. I asked you guys 4 questions. Okay. Now, you guys answer them at the start. So I'm going to ask you those 4 questions again. How is money created? How is money created? How is money created? Okay. Pressing buttons. Yes, all the money's created by pressing. All the money in the world, 90% is literally created by pressing buttons. Okay. So if your answer is pressing buttons, that is correct. Who can create money? Who can create money? Anyone can create money. That's correct. Can I create money? Can I create money? Yes or no? Can you create money? Yes, you can. I can go on my phone and create money. I can press the borrow button. I can invest it and I can create money whenever I want. Isn't that fun? It's kind of freeing, actually. Like, wow, I can just create money whenever I feel like it. Do you have to work to make money? If I go on my phone now and borrow $1,000 and send it to my bank account, did I have to work for it? Nope. I don't even have to work to make money. Press buttons, guys. Okay. I think you're going to like our class. It's actually called Pressing Buttons, so it's pretty fun. That's one of our classes in the course. And yeah, we really go into detail this stuff. Okay. We just scratched the surface today, but you can kind of do that. So, all right, guys. So there's a Google form. You can send it back. We can send you for 3 free chapters. So Norelvi can email you. There's a Google form. Norelvi actually put it in the chat. So if you press on that button in the chat, you can fill out the Google form and you can just give us some information about yourself. We're not going to chase you. If you don't want to do the course, no problem, but we can send you a Google form. If you tell us you're not interested, no worries. We don't get offended. We're just looking for people that really want to learn this stuff, right? So now, if you want to scan that code there, that's the company that I use. It's called M1 Finance. You scan that code, you can open up an account there. It takes 15 minutes. You're opening up a traditional brokerage account, and you can open that, and then you can add $100 to it. Okay, that's the company it's all covered by the SIPC, by the FDIC, all that stuff. And you can scan that code if you want to open up an account and and connect your bank, put $100. If you do that, you can set up a meeting with us. If you just open the account, put $100 into it and say, hey, I got $100. Can you help me? We will meet with you guys and just for 15, 20 minutes, that's it. And just have you set up a cool investment and then you can kind of get started. At least we'll push you in the right direction. Okay. The bank account is fully insured by the FDIC. It used to be 3.75 million. Now it's covered for 4.75 million. I think it's currently at 4% is the interest rate on their savings account. Okay. Now, if you compare that to your bank, I don't know if you're with any of those banks there. According in 2023, I think they haven't changed. Chase pays you 0.01. Bank of America's at 0.01. Citibank's at 0.05. And Wells Fargo's at 0.15. That's probably what you're getting on your savings accounts right now. Okay. Then you want a proper protection for your family and build a tax-free family bank. You want to make sure you have life insurance and long-term care. Very important for protecting your assets. We can show you how to get that fairly inexpensively. Okay. We can shop around the markets for you and show you how to get that, and also build a tax-free family bank for investing with no risk, and then also borrowing to accumulate other assets. You can read about that in my book, my third book, Top 10 Ways an IUL Can Secure Your Financial Future. And you can actually text us the word taxes to that phone number, and we can send you a couple chapters from the book. You can kind of read ahead. That's the book that I wrote before, Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes. Continue learning. You can follow our YouTube channel, P2 Wealth, or just search for the perfect portfolio. Everybody should come back and attend the next 2 classes. Keep learning. There's no charge for that. You can come back to our orientation class on June 25th, and July 2nd is our class 1. We're going to press buttons and create money. Okay, sound good? So you come back and attend those. We don't charge anything for those classes. Then decide if you want to continue. Like, is this okay? Is this for me? Is this something you want to learn? It takes time to learn it, but is this something you want to continue with? The cost of the course is $2,495. It's on sale for $2,195. Okay. Again, attend 2 classes, don't pay us anything. But if you decide to join in the future, we want to let you know what the cost of the course is. If somebody invited you here and they're a past student, they will get a 10% referral fee. Okay. They didn't do it because they wanted the money. They did it because they wanted to help you. Okay. Because they're probably changing their lives and they said, hey, I would like to help some other people and invite them here. Sound good? So they're not doing it for the money. I have a challenge for you. Find me any diploma in the country, financial diploma at any university or college in the country that cost $100,000 as to get a financial education. I will put this course over any financial education curriculum in the country that you could go $100,000 in debt for. I'll put this course above any financial curriculum in the country. You could do about $100,000 in debt. This portfolio will smoke it. I know, because I have students who spent $100,000 going to fancy universities, and they came in this course. They said it was a waste of money. They said they wish they spent the course and skipped the $100,000 in debt. We hear it all the time. Okay. So next week, same time, same Zoom. Next week, we can see you then. Now, there was a couple of students who came in the course. One was a 30-year mortgage broker. He pretty much kind of saved his life here because he was able to retire early after a heart attack. He was a mortgage broker, 30 years, had a heart attack, almost died, but he had already put everything in place for the perfect portfolio. So literally says, you kind of saved my life. So he's retired now. He's enjoying his life. He retired from the mortgage industry after 30 years. There's a guy who's 25 years in one of the top retirement planning companies in the world. That's Bob right there. He came in, he goes, this course changed my life after 25 years in one of the largest financial planning and retirement planning companies in the world. Okay. Loves this course. Okay. So now there's a bunch of different versions of the course. There's which version is right for you. There's 3 versions of the course. You learn at your own pace. We have a video course. It's just recorded videos. You're like, oh, that seems like a thing. I want to just watch it whenever I want and rewind it and go back and forth. And we have our video course. We have the live course. That's the course we're doing tonight. And then the mastermind course. Those are the 3 versions. What are the differences? The Learn at Your Own Pace course, it's about worth usually $8.99. We're doing it for $5.99. You can do 4 payments of $149.75. There's no interest. If you're just a little tight on cash, maybe that's the direction you want to go. It's the live course recorded, and then we put it on a recorded class. So, okay. Knowledge quizzes are in there, and then the ability to schedule a 30-minute call, to sort of like set up your M1 and put $100 in it and things like that. Okay. So invitation to all future seminars at discounted rates, Bitcoin, crypto, advanced strategies, things like that. And then the live course, which is the one we're doing today, that's $21.95 and 8-week course. We would do this for 8 to 9 weeks. Most of it is just you getting educated. We're not going to be doing question and answers. The last class is literally 2 hours of just question and answer. Okay, because you go through 8 weeks, most of your questions are going to be answered. Once you go through it, we run the last class is just tons of question and answers. We just go down any rabbit hole you want, answer all your questions. Okay, because you're going to keep learning for 8 weeks. You need to learn on your own and just start learning how to do this stuff. Okay, we can help you a little bit. Okay, that's the live course. Access to the Perfect Profile alumni community, and of course, you can come back to the live course anytime you want, as many times as you want to keep learning. Okay. We do a full financial needs analysis. Okay. If you join the live course, we can analyze your finances. If you need to get out of debt, we can kind of help steer you in the right direction. It's not financial advice, but I've written lots of books. I can tell you how to get out of debt. That's not considered financial advice. I can tell you how to get rid of bad debt. I can show you how to roll a Roth IRA from one place to the other, or whatever. We can't get into complex tax planning in the live course, but there's lots of cool tricks that I can show you to structure your finances for buy, borrow, die. Okay, that includes at least one free mentorship session with you, one for your M1 finance. If you want to look at life insurance, or maybe you're overpaying on life insurance, or don't have life insurance, or don't have long-term care, we can also include that within the live course. Okay. And also, if you join our live course and you refer others, you can get 10% referral if another student joins our course. Okay. Mastermind course is generally for accredited investors. These are higher net worth people, maybe with larger portfolios. Maybe they have big tax problems. Maybe they're paying too much in taxes and their CPA and financial advisor don't know what to do. Or people that have big tax problems, such as $500,000 or $1 million in a 401k. You have a $500,000 or $1 million tax problem. The longer you grow it, the bigger the problem is, right? So these are people who have larger portfolios. Accredited investor means you're more affluent and you need a lot of work. So if somebody is in the mastermind course, they want lots of help for 2 years, we'll do 2 years of coaching, okay, in the mastermind course. Okay, we'll help you maximize assets and reduce your taxes. And the goal is to pay 0 taxes. Everything from the Perfect Profile Live course, 2 to 3 additional classes. We have a mastermind course class coming up on July 1st. This is for mastermind course students who have already gone through the course and really have raised their financial IQ. We go over some kind of advanced stuff, but that's for the mastermind course. Introduction to investment advisors, tax specialists, CPA, CFP. It's hard to work with other CPAs because they just don't understand this stuff. So we generally, mastermind course, we'll find you a good CPA who understands this stuff, or a CFP. Hedge fund managers that I use. We can reduce margin costs for you. We can negotiate with your broker to bring margin rates down. We'll go into some other more advanced exchange traded funds you can use in the mastermind course. So again, generally higher net worth people, higher financial IQ, or just big tax problems. So that's their mastermind course. And we guarantee 10x the value over 2 years. So if somebody joins our mastermind course, we'll guarantee you at least 10 times that value in tax savings or returns or both. If we don't hit it within 2 years, we'll just keep working with you. Sound good? So we guarantee at least 10x the value in that one. Okay. So, who wants a free smart strategy? Who wants a free smart strategy? This is a pretty smart strategy. What if I told you could sign up for any of the Perfect Portfolio courses with none of your money? How about that? Would that sound good? Use none of your money to pay for a Perfect Portfolio course. It could be the video course, the live course, or the mastermind. Instead of using your money from your pocket to pay for the course, considering using a margin loan from your investment account. You could invest money, press the borrow button, send the money to your bank account, and pay for the course. You paid for the course with money you didn't have to work for. It's never be taxed, and you didn't have to fight inflation with it. So you can do that. That's a very common strategy for our students. And or you could use your credit card to pay for it and earn points and pay off the credit card with the margin loans. You could double dip, put it on a credit card. You have 30 days to pay it off, invest a bunch of money, borrow from it, pay off the credit card. That way you paid for the course with money that didn't have to work for it, and you got the tax-free money from the points on the credit card. If you're a business owner, the cost of the course can be tax-deductible business expense for consulting and training services. So you could invest, press the borrow button, put it on the credit card, get the tax-free money, send the money to your bank account, pay off the credit card. That's money that did, and that could be a tax deduction on money that didn't exist. That means the government owes you money. The cost of the course costs none of your money. Points and cashback are tax-free. You didn't liquidate shares of your brokerage account, so no capital gains taxes are due. This may be a tax deduction to your business if you're a business owner. Uncle Sam will pay you to learn how to legally avoid taxes. How's about that? Uncle Sam will pay you as a business owner to work with us for 2 years so we can teach you how to legally pay zero taxes. Is that a good deal? That's a pretty smart strategy. Now that is truly a strategy to maximize assets and reduce taxes. This course is for everyone, not for everyone. Okay. We don't suggest everybody do this strategy. Okay. Some people just, if people don't want to learn, put the time into learning it, we don't suggest this strategy to you. Okay. You got to put some time into it. To maximize your learning, it is going to take more than just paying for the course. You need to invest your time and effort into raising your financial IQ. Is that fair? You're going to get in this course what you put into the course. We can give you all the content. If you don't do the work, it's just not, it may not be for you. Okay. We recommend that you take the live course at least twice. Okay. If you go through it once, you'll pay for it. Go through it again. You don't need to pay us a dime. You can go through it a third or fourth or fifth time. We don't care. Once you pay for it once, you're good to go. We've taught this course almost a dozen times each. And we will still learn more each time we teach it. Remember, you can take it as many times as you want. You only pay once. I've personally invested over $500,000 of my own money to develop this course over 4 years. It's probably closer to 600 grand right now. And I've spent 60,000 hours of my life learning finances, writing books, and the last 4 years teaching this stuff. So my investment is big. It's 60,000 hours and closer to $600,000 to develop this course for you guys, right? So, we just want people that are serious and they're willing to put the time in it. Does that sound fair? You don't need to put 60,000 hours and 600 grand in it. Isn't that awesome? If you can't or won't spend the time learning, this is not the course for you. Just start with the video course. So you can learn at your own pace. If you're like, hey, I don't want to do the right, but hey, that's fine. Maybe timing is better for you 3-6 months down the road. Just start with the video course. We'd encourage you guys to do it that. Sound good? Okay. Finally, last 2 questions. We'll call it an evening. Did we raise your financial IQ? Did we raise your financial IQ? Finally, did we change your thinking? Did we change your thinking? All right, last but not least, maybe you're thinking, man, I wish there was somebody that I knew that could be here today. Is anyone thinking that? Man, I was like, oh man, I could think of 3 people. I wish they would have known, right? So ask for the recording. You're welcome to send them the recording and they can learn and they can watch this class and they can attend the next class. Sound good? We also have a fully interactive presentation. We could ask Nirolvi for that. We can even text you that. It's a fully interactive presentation that kind of explains the course. And if you love this class, The next two classes are going to blow your mind. Okay. We're just scratching the surface, trying to introduce the concept to you. We're going to dig in the next two classes, guys. So that's it for this class, guys. I hope you had a great time. I hope you learned some cool stuff. Hope your brain is just buzzing right now. And it's gotta delete the bad information. It's gotta recalibrate. So we'll give you guys a week to think about that. Maybe you guys want to open up your M1 account or something like that. Get $100 into it, and then start the baby steps of the course, guys. All right, guys. Have a great evening. Hope to see you all next week, guys. Have a great one. Bye for now.